It began as near nothing, a spark hidden in the noise, a chill, dark dot gliding across the black. It traveled faster than any comet, faster than anything that should have existed out there. Initially, they picked it up at observatories in Hawaii, then in South Africa, then Chile, their notifications piling in within hours of each other. What they observed appeared ordinary, just another flash of light across a telescope's gaze. But its velocity, its trajectory, and the manner in which it sliced through the solar wind spoke otherwise. Something unusual was on its way, and the readings would not be explained away as a glitch. NASA intervened only after 3 days of growing rumor among universities. Their statement was cautious, close to clinical. An object of unknown registration, of extrasolar origin, has crossed into our range of observation. They sidestepped the words that would later fill headlines. Alien. Extraterrestrial. Visitor. They opted for the cautious terms of science: object, trajectory, estimate of mass. But the secret was already out. This did not belong to us, and it had not been conceived by the Earth or its vicinal worlds. On the surface, it resembled a rock. That made it easier to understand, easier to stow away in known categories. But as telescopes clarified their vision, details arose that undermined complacency. Its shape was incorrect. Too even in some spots, too calculated in others. Its spin was abnormal, not random like falling debris, but intentional, as if compensating for unseen currents. It glinted with sunlight in bursts, nearly like a code. And then came the most inexplicable finding of all: it was speeding up. Not as comets are pushed ahead by jets of vapor, but smoothly, continuously, quietly, as if propelled by something we could not perceive. It made its way through the world's gaze as it moved closer. Its path plotted took it right through the solar system, a temporary visitor on an extended journey. Astronomers initially called it informally 3 Atlas, a moniker born of the collection that first established its course. Shortly, the name became permanent. 3 Atlas. A label, a secret, and for most, a harbinger. Scientific journals were heavy with papers, but today, borders were erased. Physicists worked alongside biologists, linguists alongside mathematicians, artists alongside engineers. Everyone was eager to decipher it, not only in terms of the cold equations of physics, but through the language of sense. Was it a vessel? A relic? A remnant of a lost civilization? Its shape seemed to defy categorization. It was simultaneously spacecraft, sculpture, instrument, and mystery. The more information gathered, the more uncertain its character. A single question hung over all the late-night discussions, mumbled in classrooms and labs: where did it originate? Astrometric analysis indicated an origin point within the constellation Lyra, an area already notorious among astronomers. It was, of course, where the mysterious WOW signal had originally been recorded in 1977, a fleeting, narrowband flash of radio power never accounted for. No one could verify a link, but the coincidence charged imaginations. Lyra also held stars with habitable exoplanets. Might one of them have sent this? Or had it traveled even farther longer, a messenger lost for millennia, maybe even eons? More venturesome theories claimed it was older than all human history. Perhaps it was a relic of an old galactic civilization, fired off long before our solar system existed. Others suggested it was a recorder, constantly picking up bits of knowledge and transporting them through the galaxies, a piece of interstellar archaeology. If so, the fact that it survived at all was proof of engineering beyond our wildest imagination. How do you construct something to endure not centuries but millions of years? Earth's telescopes tracked it for weeks. Night after night, pictures poured in, rendered into radiant 3D replicas, simulations of its turn and travel. Its surface looked segmented, patterns carved into its flesh like crystallized waves. Some said they could make out symbols. Others explained it away as pareidolia, the human urge to identify patterns in static. Then, as it came closest to the sun, 3 Atlas did the unexpected. It moved. Not drifted, not careened, but controlled. It changed course with precision, velocity changing as if steering itself onto a new space highway. And it did so with no hint of exhaust, no trail of ionized particles, no radiation flash. Only silence and purpose. The impact on the scientific community was earth-shattering. It could no longer be referred to as a rock. It did not happen by chance. This was designed. Some thought that its mission had been served. It had mapped our system, listed what it required, and was departing. Others speculated that it was transmitting information to a sibling probe somewhere else, farther out, a clandestine network across interstellar space. Its quietness toward Earth supported one cold speculation: its mission was not communication, but surveillance. We had not been addressed, but observed. And then, as abruptly as it had come, it started to disappear. Its trajectory turned upward, away from the plane of the planets, ascending out of our system at a sharp angle, as if taking one final look at the sun before disappearing into the blackness. The globe responded in ways no scientist could have imagined. For a few, it was vindication, evidence that humankind was not alone. For some, it was fear, the understanding that something greater than our control had moved within reach. Religion struggled to understand its message. Some said it was a messenger of God, others a test of faith. Philosophers debated if contact had indeed occurred, or if existence itself was the message. Kids composed tales of space protectors and celestial neighbors. Engineers redrawn their diagrams, drawn by its smooth geometry and quiet movement. Architects were affected as well, crafting structures that bent and flowed in imitation of pieces of the visitor. And in research centers, groups labored around the clock to unravel what little information we'd about taken with, dividing it into clusters: propulsion, materials, environmental flexibility, info storage. Whole new fields germinated from these seeds. The most mind-boggling fascination was in its movement. Without engines, how did it move? Some thought it warped spacetime itself, rather than fighting against inertia but redefining it locally. Others said it warped magnetic fields into tunnels, gliding along them like a surfer on phantom waves. These concepts spawned a new line of physics, dynamic spacetime engineering. Even its thinking was a mystery. Was it pre-programmed, running commands written years before? Or was it thinking, modifying, learning in the moment? Its subtle deviations from course suggested awareness. Not human awareness, not thought as we understand it, but something more akin to intuition, an intelligence that sensed the currents of plasma and gravity like fish sense water. Speculation became more profound when scientists pondered how it would hold information. Its compactness was too small to accommodate standard repositories, so maybe it held information in quantum lattices or even spacetime itself. Concepts previously labeled science fiction found their way into serious scientists' vocabulary. And then there came the most difficult to grasp realization of all. The object appeared to time its maneuvers to perfection. It dodged clusters of asteroids by arriving late or early. It flew close to the sun during a period of solar flare lull. It acted not like it knew the future, but like it could model probability so perfectly that uncertainty all but disappeared. To us, it appeared to be foresight. To it, maybe, it was merely navigation. Years from now, humanity will still be learning from the information 3 Atlas left behind. Each small variation in its path, each reading of the spectrum, is another crumb that leads us closer to things we never thought to dream. But even now, with it far out of sight beyond the horizon, its impact remains. It led us to accept the reality that we are not the sole designers in this universe. Somewhere out there, someone or something has constructed, survived, and observed. For the first time ever, human beings were not the observer but were observed. The James Webb Space Telescope had been constructed to peer into the remote past, but what it showed was the present, a presence in our skies that could not be. And as governments closed their files and the final morsels of information were swallowed into secrets vaults, one question resounded more loudly than the rest: if this was merely the start, what comes after? Maybe the most chilling consideration is not that we have been discovered. It is that we could have been discovered years ago, and only now, for reasons incomprehensible to us, have they decided to inform us.